From Stipe putting his title of greatest heavyweight on the line, to the entire division being taken by storm by Jones. Let's take a look at all the news surrounding the super fight between Miocic and Jon Jones. Crazily enough, Stipe hasn't fought in nearly 2 years. The last time fans saw the Croatian step into the octagon was when he lost his title to Ngannou in their rematch, and the MMA world started worrying about him retiring, considering how quiet Stipe can get when he isn't in a press conference. The UFC kept trying to book Miocic for a super fight against either Ngannou to complete their trilogy, both fighters had one win over the other, or book the former champ against Jon Jones as his introductory fight in the division. Strangely enough, the only news fans got out about Miocic in the mainstream media is people spreading rumors about him. The former champ himself has been lying low and enjoying family life with his young children, considering he turned 40 recently and has been fighting at the highest level for almost a decade. It's no wonder Stipe wants to spend more time at home. But I have to say, it's almost criminal how easily MMA fans can overlook their heroes sometimes.
Of Phil DeFries. And that, folks, is a good-looking UFC heavyweight.
Stipe's, to date, the most successful heavyweight of all time, and an exceptionally entertaining fighter in the cage. Being unskilled on the mic and unwilling to trash talk has made him more forgettable than other champions.
Perhaps Maldonado. Oh, big right hand there. Stipe Miocic looking for the quick finish, and he's got it. Stipe Miocic. Just what the doctor ordered.
Jon Jones has been putting more respect on Stipe's name than anybody. It's one of the reasons Jon's the GOAT. He recognizes the greatness in others and knows that no other fight will bring him the glory that Stone Cold brings.
Oh, look at this. Drops down, Jones controls him. Underhook by Ryan Bader on the left side, and that's what he's going to try to use to stand back up with. Under a minute now. Yeah, he's working to try that. He's trying to slide his...
Stipe has 6 championship victories in the heavyweight division, with 3 defenses in a row during his first reign, which is a record in and of itself. Victories over legends like Junior Dos Santos, Fabrizio Werdum, and Alistair Overeem prove those defenses came against top-tier competition. So Jones recognizes the weight of victory over Miocic will have for his legacy. He's been calling Miocic out ever since he decided to move up to heavyweight, and uttered his name with Ngannou's every time someone asked him the goals he had for his move up.
You think I did?
Absolutely.
Well, I think I did.
I think you're the best in the world.
I am the best in the world.
You're the heavyweight champ.
Boom!
That's it. No one can say anything else. Who's next for you?
Right now it's my kitchen.
Before the UFC made the Cyril Gane fight, Stipe was supposed to be the one who got a shot at the vacant title because he never got his rematch with Francis. The respect Jones has for the former champion was clear in his immediate call-out after winning the championship. Rather than going for the obvious call-out for Francis, which he did in interviews post-fight, he spoke about Miocic, who was watching ringside. Safe to say, Jon isn't the only one who wants to test himself against the GOAT of the sport. Stipe wants the fight just as bad as Jones. Why wouldn't he? He's never given fans any indication that he runs from competitions. He took on Francis back when he was searching for everybody, and then he took him on again when he was making a comeback. The man's a firefighter in his off time, for crying out loud. I don't think he's afraid of a fight if he runs into burning buildings. The fight just didn't work out, according to the Croatian. Reporters were super interested in knowing if Stipe wanted Jon as badly as he wanted him. That's how Jon put it.
Trash talk, you wanted to make sure that there was no way this guy beat you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I really wanted to try to chill Sonnen, and I think I did a good job at that.
And the former champ revealed there was truth in the UFC trying to book him against Jones. Unfortunately, the way the division was progressing and the long-term plan the UFC seemed to have for Jones at heavyweight, they never ended up calling Miocic for the match.
Big shot! He's out! Stipe Miocic remains the heavyweight champion! Wow! He wins here at...
But the man's ready. He was disappointed at not getting the call. Taking 2 years off at this stage in your career's a major decision. But initially, Stipe wanted to spend more time at home, and then didn't find the right matchup to come back. Jones is a good option though, and not just because it's going to be Stipe's biggest fight. Miocic could be the only one who can manage Jon's wrestling. Heavyweights are notorious for not having a lot of technique and are notoriously bad technical wrestlers. One of the reasons for Stipe's success, much like Daniel Cormier, Cormier is his NCAA Division I wrestling background. If you have the strength and size of a heavyweight, along with the solid ground game, you're pretty much unstoppable. And John's victory over Gán's a perfect example of this phenomenon. Now, I'm not saying Stipe is going to out-wrestle Jones completely, nor am I saying that the new champ won't be able to take Stipe down.
Kick. Oh, look at this. Drops down, Jones controls him. Underhook by Ryan Bader on the left side, and that's what he's going to try to use to stand back up with.
Under a minute now.
Yeah, he's working to try that. He's trying to slide his...
But it's going to be competitive enough for the fight to go much longer than the Gán fight, and fans will see Stipe throw some hands. Gán failed to land a single strike against John, and fans still haven't seen his chin tested against true heavyweight power. Plus, if the backstep knockout against Weirdum's any indication, Miocic hits like a truck. That's going to be the true test for John. Whether he can manage that heavyweight power, because just one good shot can put your lights out. One of the easiest ways I can analyze the skill level of each fighter is to look at the common opponents they've faced. Both fighters boast 2 victories over former double champ Daniel Cormier. DC's had extensive rivalries with both champions, and personally, I like the trilogy with Stipe better because of how competitive and back and forth it was. Sure, that means John had an easier time beating Daniel, so it means he was a better fighter, and I would agree wholeheartedly if the fights had been in the same division, because I think Daniel's better at heavyweight than he was at 205, and I give Stipe a ton of credit for his adaptability across the 3 fights. He may have been knocked out with a surprise punch in the first fight, but that's just the game fighters play at heavyweight. He returned to finish DC in the 4th round, a feat Jones matched. Both finishes were exceptional. Jones displayed extraordinary skill with the head kick he landed, but Stipe showed high fight IQ with the adjustment he made with the body shots. I don't know if John can pull off moves like that with all the weight he's put on for the move, especially against a much taller opponent than DC. But it's safe to say Stipe is going to retain the fight IQ he showed. Both fighters are at the pinnacle of their careers, but at the age of 40, Stipe isn't the only one who doesn't have much to achieve. Either fighter could retire at the end of their bout. Dana White himself said that if John manages to beat Stipe, retirement's a very real possibility, because what else is there for John to do? He could decide to defend the belt a few more times at heavyweight, especially considering his 8-fight contract with the UFC. But contracts aren't that complicated to get out of, and even Jones promised only 2 to 3 fights at heavyweight before his return. Jones could make a venture into boxing in the last few years of his athletic peak, or he could just call it quits. He has millions in the bank anyway. As for Stipe, I think there's a very real possibility he could retire regardless of the outcome. Even if he wins, he'll be a 3-time world champion who gains nothing out of defeating the belt for a 3rd title reign. The fight with Jones is going to be a huge and worthy send-off for the best heavyweight of all time. Well, folks, that's all there is to know about the confirmed fight between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic.